Last night, a lot to digest here. This Bears team that looked so bad at football early on in the year that everybody was questioning how Matt Nagy was a head coach. Everybody was questioning how last year Mitchell Trubisky had the number 3 overall QBR and number 2 overall QBR for the entire NFL last year in a team that was on the rise, the team that everybody said this is the year that we could potentially win a Super Bowl. The defense was locked and loaded last year. Now the offense has another year of experience under Nagy. This team's going to go. They need a kicker. They worked out a lot of people. They called a lot of people. They had 7-8 different kickers in one day at camp. Our only weak link is our kicking position. They called some retired punters to go do it. But the Bears are this team that was supposed to take over the world. And the conversation about the Bears for the first 8 weeks was, wow, this team is garbage. Mm-hmm. Matt Nagy, how do you even get a head coaching gig? Mitchell Trubisky, what happened? The coach was telling Mitchell Trubisky, go watch the TV version so you can see how terrible you look with your body language. Go watch the TV version so you can hear what people are saying about you. Mitchell Trubisky said, turn off all of the televisions in the facility. I don't want to hear what people are saying.
Saving power.
Saving power,
Smart.
Saving potential confidence. He had all the TVs turned off in the building. That's how bad the Bears were. Come on. And last night, Mitchell Trubisky looked like a damn good quarterback.
That's incredible.
Mitchell Trubisky was making people miss. Mitchell Trubisky was making other professional athletes look like bad athletes. Mitchell Trubisky was throwing some great balls. Mitchell Trubisky looked like a guy that should be an NFL quarterback for a long time to come last night against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Chicago Bears are still in this thing somehow. Mm-hmm. The NFC, you're going to have to get a lot of wins. You're going to have to get a lot of wins, and the Bears' road ahead is not easy. You got the Chiefs, they got the Packers, and they got the Vikings. That is a very, very tough road if they want to do that. In the NFC, you're going to have a lot of wins unless you're in the NFC East.
They're going to have to win out.
But they're going to have to win out, and that's going to be tough because the Packers and Vikings are going to have to do the same damn thing to get the winner of the NFC North. But the Bears last night, if they could have played like they played last night in the last couple, maybe even against the Lions and David Blah, they would have been a team that would have lived up to the conversation that was happening before the season. Now they're at the bottom of the hill looking up, hoping to get in with a fan base that's like, damn, like we had this the whole time and now it's nothing. That was without Akeem Hicks too. Uh-huh. So their team can even get better, which is something that is mind-blowing. And as a Bears fan, you just got to be like, what the hell are we doing for an entire NFL season? Why is it just now that we decide to play good football? And I'd assume as a Bears fan, that's got to be a bit frustrating.
Who's to blame for the first 7 games? Right, ultimately, because that would piss you off.
Well, you did point fingers, actually. And Nagy was pointing at the television, at Trubisky. It all happened. And the Bears, even though they're still technically in it, got a very hard road. But, boy, this is like what the Browns would do to their fan base, not the Chicago Bears fans.
I asked Zito this morning, like, is this frustrating knowing that if you played like this all season long, you'd be in this great position? He goes, nah, he's win game. Doesn't matter, win or lose.
And is Mitchell Trubisky your quarterback now?
Oh, he's always been my quarterback, you know.
No, that is not true. That is not true. All of Chicago turned their back on Mitch.
Don't let Mitch get hot. That's what I always said.
You never said that.
Oh, yeah.
They used to wear those uniforms every game, by the way.
I know. It's my favorite
Looks
helmet.
good. Looks very
Even Mitch's interception was a tight spiral and a great catch on the sideline.
I agree. Dragged the toe. I thought his foot was on the end zone there. I guess it's where the ball is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that should have came out to the 20. But, obviously.
The end zone rules are weird.
Very weird. Because you fumble in there. It's a touchback. You did this at the 1. But anyways, the Bears look like a good football team.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I've been saying it for years.
You have been saying it for years, and you've been wrong a lot in your life.
And I'm right now.
Hand up on me. If I would have known that the Cowboys weren't going to try, nor tackle,
shut up, Tony.
nor give Zeke the ball, really, I wouldn't have taken him.
Told you that yesterday,
12.
Tony.
Told
you that yesterday. Eli Manning against the Eagles. Mm-hmm. Cowboys weren't going to try.
He did.
Oh, because they knew that Eli was going to bury the Eagles. You don't have to get a win here on Thursday Night Football. And for that Cowboys team, they did just look terrible. I mean, not only did Mitchell Trubisky put up 30 points on them, but except for garbage time where they picked up all their yards and points, I mean, I think Dak threw for 300 yards, which is great for him statistically, but that's all garbage yards at the end. They got back in it, I guess, with a chance for a Hail Mary after a thing. You could say if you're a Cowboys player or coach, like, hey, for how bad we play, we're still in it, you know? But anybody that watches that outside of that building knows they got demoralized last night. And it's interesting because somehow if you're a team – you have to be able to put that aside because you still have everything in front of you. You still lead the division currently. You still can potentially go to the playoffs and maybe make a run. But it feels like that entire team, both the locker room, the coaches, and even the fan base, the owner, everybody is just at the point where they're like, this is not going how we thought it was supposed to go. We stink. And it's almost like Cowboys fans and Cowboys alum are embarrassed with what's being shown. And for me, Jason Garrett, I think he got some work done to his face, by the way, which I respect. Hey, if you're going to get on TV all the time, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I respect it a lot. He looked younger than he had in past, but he looked more miserable than I've seen him in a long time. And Jerry Jones put a lot of pressure on him, 2 weeks ago? He said, hey, we just want to win some games. They've lost 2 in a row now. So whenever he said, we just got to win some games, Jason Garrett is obviously gone from the Cowboys.
Yeah. He was trending last night, too, wasn't he?
Fire Garrett was trending last night, like number 12 in America or number 13 in America on Twitter. There it is. Number 13 in the United States was Fire Garrett last night after the game. That's never good, especially for a coach. Is that the first time that's happened for a coach that's leading his division? Probably. He's got no shot. The Cowboys stink.
They lost the last 2 games the exact same way, too. First drive, right down the field, take the lead, and then they're done for the rest of the game.
What happens there, you think, right? Because everybody goes like, well, that's your scripted plays, but your scripted plays are supposed to affect the rest of the game play. So the reason why you're running scripted plays is to see how the defense is going to react to certain formations, certain bunches, certain things like that. And if you find success with every single play, it felt like they were finding success. It was like a 15-play drive, like 7 minutes or something. Longest opening drive of the
17,
season.
I think.
Yeah, 17. Longest opening drive of the entire season in the NFL. It's like, how do you not? Okay, let's take that, all right, and let's just, so this worked, and this worked. Let's just go ahead and let's get rid of all of it.
Let's stop using Zeke. Let's just stop.
Yeah, they fall in love with the pass.
They script the run.
Yeah.
And they dominate with that. Like, Zeke was gashing the Bears early with runs.
Yep.
Of those 17 plays, he probably had 8 carries, and then he ended with 18 carries or something like that for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and he had like a 14-yard up the gut. It looked like Zeke, and he even started rolling, right? It felt like we hadn't seen that a lot. The only people that have been doing the Zeke feed me bowl with the first down have been the opposing teams because they've stopped him. The only people we've seen doing that all year has been the opposing, and he got going early. It's like, all right, here we go now. We're going to get this team going. We're forced to watch them on national TV every single week. We are literally forced to talk about them every day in the show. We get an email saying, hey, must have obligatory Cowboys talk today. And all of a sudden, they just go away from it. And that team just looks lost. They look like they had uninspired. They look like all this stuff. And I don't know how they turn around. And it feels like this is going to be potentially Dwayne Haskins' division to win. Eli Manning buries the Eagles. They get demoralized up there. Dwayne Haskins just continues to feel good about himself. He's got to go into Packers this weekend, I mean, I'm a Packers guy. It's tough for me to say this. I guess just for the bid, I will. Dwayne Haskins is definitely going to get the win in Green Bay. With Green Bay, it's tough to say that. But that is how bad the NFC East is.
Jason Garrett's getting a lot of heat. What about the offensive coordinator? They've regressed with a new one this year.
Well, Kellen Moore, obviously. But Dan Orlovsky, if you were to listen to Dan Orlovsky talk, he says that he thinks Jason Garrett gets his hands in there, and Jason Garrett's the one changing it. But nothing tells me about Kellen Moore that he isn't going to be a ridiculously pro-passing offensive coordinator. Like nothing looking at him in his past, in the way everything goes, and his friendship with Dak, doesn't tell me that he's going to be a pro-passing quarterback, which, by the way, nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of pro-passing quarterbacks. But when you have a guy you just paid a lot of money to in the backfield that can change games and dominate games, it's hard to get away from that. And I've assumed Jerry Jones sees that as well. He's like, hey, excuse me, we paid that guy who went to Cabo for training camp a lot of money.
And didn't Graham.
And you just continue to not give him the ball. Is there any way we could potentially be on the same damn page so maybe we can win a game every once in a while? I'm tired of answering questions, Jason Garrett. I liked you for a long time. I hate you right now, Jason Garrett. I bet you that's how Jerry Jones feels, and that's how he felt last night. He's got to be so mad about the lack of Zeke. Has to. He's paid him a lot of money.
A lot of money.
His hands do not get cramps when he's writing checks. He's proven that, he says. And they paid Zeke. And it has not been a Zeke central offense, and they have failed. And that's just the way.
Especially when you see success with Zeke to start, and then you stop
every
giving
time. Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all.